Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Tuesday. God, I saw one on the screen and it just went poof, blank. So, we are on lesson number 2 today of self-love. But I also had an idea. Instead of doing guidance cards, I thought, you know what? Let's finish up the Affirmators deck. So I'm going to do one card per day. Per self-love day. And I did actually count them. There's 22. So when we get to the last one, we'll just shuffle them and see what we get, right? See what we need to recover. Good morning, older sibling. So, like I said, instead of doing guidance cards while we're doing the 30 lessons of self-love, I am going to do the Affirmators Love and Relationships. Now, the reason I'm doing Love and Relationships is because even though I think this is primarily based on partnerships, I want people to realize that self-love is a relationship. It is a relationship with yourself. It is a relationship that you are in 24/7, 365, 66, depending on the year, for your entire life. Your closest relationship you will ever have, and the one you should be maintaining, and the person you should be loving the most so that you can love others unconditionally, is yourself. Yourself. That's right. So let's get going. And just for anyone that's new, this is the affirmation cards to help you help yourself without the self-helpiness. All right, that's what it says. In fact, I'll read the back. It's been proven that making positive statements out loud can radically improve your mood, outlook, and relationships. We're not ones to argue with science, so we're giving it a shot. I think it says pseudoscience or pixie dust. But so we're giving it a shot. 40 cards offer daily affirmations without the self-helpy self-seriousness on love of all stripes, from friendships to romance, and 10 bonus cards bestow some extra love and vibes. So again, this is about maintaining and, it's about creating, solidifying, balancing, and maintaining our relationship with ourselves, our self-love. All right, so let's see. Benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. And here we have a lion helping an antelope, which you really got to trust the benefit of the doubt on that one. Because normally he probably would have caused that bite in the leg right before he ate him. So, anyways, I do like the thought that goes into these cards. It's about giving someone the benefit of the doubt. I believe in the basic goodness of other people, and I give them the chance to show it. If they prove me wrong, that's on them. At least I can go to sleep knowing that I practice trust and forgiveness rather than fear and doubt. And later on, if I need to, I can always change my mind and retroactively judge them like it's my career. Like a critic. I probably shouldn't say that. Anyways, so I'm going to read this again. I believe in the basic goodness of other people, and I give them the chance to show it. If they prove me wrong, that's on them. At least I can go to sleep knowing that I practice trust and forgiveness rather than fear and doubt. Now, you're probably saying, yeah, but that's about trusting other people. Well, that's what self-love does, right? Self-love gives us the power to truly, truly trust ourselves. And that gives us the ability to trust others, or to use a little more discernment when trusting others and deciding whether or not we want to trust them. But what I like about this card is that it can really, really be about you, yourself, and you, right? I believe in the basic goodness of other people, and I give them the chance to show it. If they prove me wrong, that's on them. At least I can go to sleep knowing that I practice trust and forgiveness rather than fear and doubt. But what if we change that? What if we changed other people? I believe in the basic goodness of myself, and I give myself the chance to show it. If I prove me wrong, that's on me. At least I can go to sleep knowing that I practice trust and forgiveness rather than fear and doubt. That may happen when you're first on this journey of self-love. You may struggle with, practicing trust and forgiveness, rather than fear and doubt with yourself. Because, a lot of times when we start to hit this whole self-forgiveness or self-love thing, we're coming from a place of fear and doubt. We're coming from a place that says, because you don't trust yourself. Maybe there's a reason you don't trust yourself. Maybe there are things that have happened to you in your life that cause you to struggle with trusting. So believe in the basic goodness of you. Okay? We're all born this, perfect creature. Now, we may become imperfect over time because nobody's perfect. But the minute we're born, we're literally just an open book. We're a blank slate. It's like a notebook, right? When you first buy this fresh, brand new notebook or journal, and then you start to write your life inside. You start to write all the things down inside. Your memories, the good things you've done, the bad things you've done, the things you need to forgive yourself for. That's where trust and forgiveness come in. Trust and forgiveness is a huge part of self-love. Now, mind you, this is all my perspective. This is all what comes out of my head. Okay? But this is also my life. These are the things that I've had to learn along the way. These are the things that I have had to struggle with myself, with a lot of fear and doubt. Yesterday we talked about self-love and how, about what we struggle with. And I said my struggle with self-love is being happy. Allowing myself to be happy, to feel worthy of being happy. And last night I had the most terrible dream. And it wasn't a nightmare. I mean, it might have been a nightmare, but it's not your typical nightmare. It's not the one where someone's running after you and trying to kill you. Believe it or not, in those dreams, I actually fight back. This was one where I just felt like everyone I knew was just excluding me from everything. And in my dream, I was very unhappy. And I kept thinking, well, this isn't fair. Why is everybody against me? Why is everybody attacking me? And, I found another friend in my dream that, kind of set me straight and said, you owe these people an apology. And, in the past, these dreams would have really made me overthink when I woke up. It would have really made me think, oh my God, what am I thinking? What am I doing? Blah, blah, blah. But instead I woke up and I thought, oh, okay. So my subconscious is still afraid of moving forward. And in my dream, I actually said to somebody, I'm really sorry. I guess I'm just taking something out on you because I said, I feel like I don't know what my purpose is. And that may be where the struggle is. Or maybe I do know my purpose and I'm just afraid of it. We're all going to have a little bit of that sketchy, skittish kitty cat thing going on when we're facing the unknown. But facing the unknown is also what makes it so exciting, right? Sometimes we have to embrace the scary. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because that's how we grow. That's where growth comes from. And when I woke up, I realized that was my growth. When I woke up, I didn't overthink it. I didn't feel sad. I didn't think the whole world was against me. I thought, how do I fix this so that I don't have this dream again? And the weird thing was, is it took place in the rec hall of where I went to school in my primary years. So, my formative years. And I was just like, why would it take place there? But that's where a lot of these limited beliefs came from. I was bullied in school. I know, I went to a Catholic school and I was still bullied as a kid. But, you know what? Kids are kids. It doesn't matter where you send them. They're not going to be perfect. But a lot of the self-doubts and things that I had already obtained in the early parts of my life were just kind of reinforced there. They were reinforced in those moments with, mean people. But that's how we overcome it. That's how we teach each other. When we're insecure or we think we're better than somebody else, maybe we need to stop and look back and think why we think we're better than somebody else. What are we hiding? What are we not healing inside of us? What is hurting us? We have to fix that, right? You have to heal it to seal it. I came up with that one last week. You have to heal it to seal it. But the point is, you have to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. All right. So let's get to lesson number 2 of self-love. All right. Yesterday was a good one. I struggled all day. I kept forgetting to journal about it. And I finally had to get my butt out of bed and journal about it. And so, lesson number 2, get rid of a limiting belief that you have about yourself or your abilities. How is that for just putting the period on the sentence of that dream I had? Just jumping back to that dream. I know a lot of people say it was just a dream. You're probably having this kind of feeling or that kind of feeling, but I do believe that dreams tell us something. Okay, because I talked about not being, I said specifically in my dream, where is it in here? I said, I just feel lost. I don't know what my purpose is. All right, because I got up and I journaled all this. I just feel lost. I don't know what my purpose is. I woke up and the first two things I saw, okay, were this. One was from Moon Omens. The more lost that I feel, the more purpose that there is in where I am. Being in the unknown, teaching me how to find my way. So in my dream, I talked about being lost and not knowing my purpose. But what am I doing? We're talking about self-love, right? I'm sharing my experiences. I'm sharing my dream last night. I'm giving myself the benefit of the doubt that I'm going to figure this out if I don't already know it. Sometimes we'll sit there and say, I feel lost and I don't know what my purpose is, but it's because our heart and our soul know, but the brain is struggling to get around it. We're overthinking it. Instead of simplifying it, we're trying so hard to make one specific thing our purpose. But what if our purpose is just to plant the seed? Plant the seed of positivity, plant the seed of love, self-love, of gratitude, of looking at every single day as a gift instead of a curse. It's scary. You know, when my dinged up mental health really was getting a hold of me for a while, a while back, waking up did feel like a curse sometimes. And yet I'd go to sleep afraid that I wouldn't wake up. So it was like this total terrible, wheel that I was on. This terrible cycle, like two different cycles just intertwining with each other, just wreaking a lot of havoc and just keeping me stuck until finally I just screamed in my head and thought, stop, enough. And I started to give myself the benefit of the doubt. I started trusting myself. I still struggle with that. But the second thing I read, which I found interesting, and this is where I feel like it really, really hit home that my dream was trying to tell me something. My brain wants to move forward with my heart and my soul. But the subconscious part of it is just, it's scared. Because it's change. I don't do well with change. I mean, I do well with change now, but, that's a limiting ability. That's a limiting thing that I need to get rid of, is being afraid of change. Change is good. Change is progress. And it says, sometimes the mind creates a cage, keeping you stuck in a mindset that doesn't let you see the way out. Today you're breaking free Today you're breaking free from an outdated perspective and gaining more vitality for doing so. And the very last line, you can trust in this new way, dear one. You can trust in this new way. So that seems to be the thing, right? Benefit of the doubt, talked about trust. And today, get rid of a limiting belief that you have about yourself or your abilities. What is it that you know that you can do, that you're good at, but you just think, well, the world doesn't need that. It has enough people. I almost stopped doing this show because I thought, you know what, there's a lot of people out there with a lot more followers, doing a lot more than I do, who have farther reach than I do. But then I thought, I don't want to stop. And it's partly selfish because it does help me. It helps me as well. And it's important for me to be able to plant these seeds, though. Because what I didn't realize at the time was, even though not a lot of people come on during the live, a lot of people watch this afterwards. And I was and sometimes if I don't do a show, like Friday I didn't do a show because I had a terrible sinus migraine from the changing weather. And, sometimes when I don't do them, people be like, are you okay? I didn't see your show up today. And I'm like, oh, I didn't, they're all like, I do watch. I'm unable to get on live because I'm doing this, that, or the other, but I usually watch it later. I found out one of my cousins watches it at night, and her husband, I don't know if they still watch it, but her husband will sit there next to her watching it too. And it's just, he's like, I know it doesn't show it, but I watch it too. And it's just like, okay, well, thank you for watching. But, that's why we don't quit. When we feel like something is very strong on our path, we have to keep moving forward, even when it feels hard. You have to trust in this new way. Because new isn't always bad. New is change. New is the unknown. But what happens with new? New eventually becomes a part of something. New doesn't last forever. You know, at some point when you have a new journal or a new toy or a new, cup to drink your water out of, after a couple of days, it's not new anymore. It becomes familiar. It becomes familiar to us. And there are going to be times in our lives when we're trying to protect ourselves, when we're trying to keep ourselves safe from all these different things that we're so afraid may be hurting us or may hurt us. But that becomes familiar too. And then it gets hard to break free. It becomes hard to break free from that cage, from those shackles, from those chains. It's hard to let go of that anchor, right? That anchor that's still sitting through that wall of waves in the sea of bliss for a long time, or sitting in the sea of misery while your boat is sitting there in the ocean of bliss. There's still something holding you back into there. And this is where self-love comes in. Self-love helps us it helps teach us to trust ourselves, to feel like we are worthy, to show us that self-respect and that self-worth. And self-love is ultimately what helps us reach out to others, because we trust ourselves, because we have that self-worth and that self-respect. And it feels so good, we just want to share it with other people. We want to say, hey, look, you can flip the narrative. You can change your perspective. It's hard, maybe. For some people, it's not that hard. For some people, it's like, okay, no problem. And just like that. I mean, you'll see people progress at different levels, at different speeds. I'm sorry, is what I should have said. What I meant to say was that you can see people progress at different speeds. Some people may be way up here, while some people are way back here. Then they get to the next lesson and they may pass up that person because this person may be stuck on a different lesson. But it's not being stuck. It's growing. It's refueling. It's learning what works for us so that we stop working against ourselves. We want what works for us so we stop working against us. Right? And to me, that is the real foundation of self-love. So again, get rid of a limiting belief that you have about yourself or your abilities. Okay, let's see. Remember, guys, for those of you that are so inclined, these make great journal prompts. All right, I will put it in the comments and the header when I'm done. But get rid of a limiting belief that you have about yourself or your abilities. I'm trying to think of one. I have many, but believe it or not, I've done so much healing that, when I first did this several years ago, I actually got it from the bucket. Okay, so I keep forgetting to tell you, since we're on lesson number 2, this is actually called the 30 days of self-love. All right, but I'm calling it the 30 lessons because we're not doing these days consecutively. It'll be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. But I don't know where it came from originally, but I got it from Bucket List Living on Pinterest UK. I know, I just Googled it and that just happened to be from the UK. I know, I didn't search it out. It just happened. Total Britophile. Anyways, yeah, I can't help it. I love England. It's a great place. You just know where your soul resonates. My soul resonates in a few places, but it definitely resonated there. But get rid of a limiting belief that you have about, I don't trust myself. Like I said, I have it written in 3 different places in my room. Trust yourself. And actually 2 different places in my room. One right in front of me and one as I head out my door of my bedroom. And I don't trust myself. That's why I love this card. I need to start giving myself the benefit of the doubt that the decisions I'm making, I have to trust them. Because sometimes we hold back all these wonderful, amazing things that can happen to us because we're not trusting ourselves. We're not trusting the process. We're not trusting the path. Our path of power. I mean, apparently, I tried Googling what that meant, path of power, because I read that somewhere else, and all these Dragon Ball things came up. So I guess that must have been one of their movies or one of their cartoons or one of their games that they have. But I'm sure even there's a lesson in those things, right? Because you're trying to, all video games kind of have, it's the battle of good and evil, if you really think about it, right? Like in Mario, you're trying to save the princess from that big, weird, turtley looking thing. And I can't remember his name. I know, terrible. But it's always about that balance. And that's what self-love is about. It's about finding that balance. It's about finding that balance within you. We are not going to be perfect every day. Okay? I like to tell people that, like my older sibling, every so often, if I'm helping her with something or whatnot, she'll say, "You're perfect." It's like, "No, I'm not perfect." And I know people will say, and she says it, with love. She's not saying it out of sarcasm or anything. She's like, "Oh, you're so perfect. Thank you." It's like, no, I'm not perfect. And I find that's kind of a trigger for me, strangely, because I've strived for perfection for so long when I was trying to super control my life, because I had secrets, because I had things I didn't want people to know, because I had a lot of shame and pain and anger and hurt inside of me. And I tried to control that. So I tried to be this perfect person. And when I started to heal, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like perfectly imperfect. And that was my goal, to be perfectly imperfect, because I realized every day is not going to be a good day. And so I was telling her, I said, "Oh, please don't say that, because I just realized that's kind of a trigger. And this just happened a couple days ago." And she's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for some weird reason, it's a trigger." And I ended up apologizing to her later, because I got kind of snappy about it. But I didn't realize how much that word really affected me. And I realized it's something I had to heal. But when we strive for perfection, we get to this is my perspective, because some people will try to strive for perfection, and I cannot stop you. You will do what you are going to do. But here's my thing. For me, from my perspective, when we strive for perfection, once we get there, what's next? Then you're striving for another level of perfection, another level of perfection, and you're never really satisfied with where you're at. Goals are great. Goals are amazing. And it's always good to keep shooting for more and more goals. But when we're shooting for the perfection of the goal, like, well, this is how I wanted to do it perfectly, and this is how the path should have gone. Some people lose the goal along the way because they're so just in tune with it being such a perfect path that they lose the sight of the goal and the achievement and what it means. And when they hit that goal and an achievement, it's kind of like, whoa, what next? I got to do more. But you know what? And people will congratulate them. Yeah, well, it took me longer than I thought it would, or, I wish I would have done it this way, or I don't know why I had to make it so hard on myself. They're not saying, hey, dumbass, why did you take the long way? They're saying, hey, way to go on your achievement, way to go on your goal. But because it wasn't done the perfect way in your mind, the way you had planned it, because it took a lot of different roads, or maybe it wiggled on the way there, you're unable to see that everyone's congratulating you, because it doesn't matter how you got there. They're seeing the struggle, the progress, the change, the unknown that you had to face to get where you're at. And they're congratulating you for being there, while you're sitting there being hard on yourself for taking 5 different paths to get there. Don't worry about how you get there. Just get there. That this is why I'm spending so much time on these self-love things. This is why we're going to start with the self-help deck, or the self-love deck. Because no matter how many times we laid the foundation last week, we have to maintain that foundation. I live in California. We have earthquakes. The foundation can get a little rocky and shaky. And a lot of times, if it's not built to code for earthquakes, it could crumble. And we have some buildings that have, because they were built before a certain time, and they weren't built to the specifications of the earthquake code. I know in San Diego, if a building was not built to specifications, they would make them start all over, which costs a lot of money, right? So everybody would try to get it right the first time. Not cut corners, not cheat, just do it right. Some people have figured out how to put things on what they call rollers, so that the buildings sway instead of shake. Because a lot of our earthquakes aren't just shakers, they're swayers, right? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to house bolt this foundation. They actually have a thing called house bolting out here, all right? And that's where they, I'm not exactly sure what they mean by house bolting. I thought it was a joke when the first time I saw it, because I saw it, the very first time I saw it was in Los Angeles. And I was just like, what the hell is house bolting? And this is years ago. And they're all, oh, they're earthquake proofing the house, which means they're stabilizing a house built before a certain time and making sure that if an earthquake does happen, it doesn't just go kaput. And that's what the whole point of reading these cards at the beginning is about. It's about house bolting that foundation. So as we build our house, our house of self-love, it's not a house of cards. House of cards are just, you tap one, you blow on it, poof, they're going to fall, right? Unless you glue them together. But we want a solid house. We want the third little piggy's house, the brick house. We want it to be strong and tight and know that, you know what? Yeah, some things may happen to it. Yeah, we may get structural damage from time to time, but we know how to fix it. We know how to bounce back just like that. Because we have that self-love. Because we have that new way of discerning what's good and what's not good for us. We have that new way of trusting what is good for us. And that's what we want out of self-love. We want to be able to express ourselves through self-love, through trust, through gratitude, feeling self-worthy, and having self-respect for ourselves. When we have self-respect for ourselves, we tend to make better decisions because we know what's good for us. We're not looking for validation in other people. It's always nice to get it. It's always nice to get that compliment or that validation that you're doing well. But that should be overflowing your cup. That shouldn't be just what's filling it. Your cup becomes full because you fill it with your joy, your happiness. Not because of what you do for other people, to fill that cup. If you're doing it from if you're doing something great for somebody from a full cup, then that means that you're already feeling happy and you're just spreading the joy. But when you're doing something for someone because you're feeling sad or upset or something, it's not always a bad thing, right? It might help you get out of whatever funk you're in. But if it's something that's consistent, it could be because you're lacking self-love. It could be because you're lacking that focus that you deserve good things, that you are worthy of wonderful things. You do deserve to be happy. And a lot of times we'll people please to get there because we can't validate ourselves. Self-love to me is self-validation. It is showing you the respect that you deserve and the worthiness that should be and can be yours. I was talking about yesterday how I struggle with deserving to be happy. And today I had like the worst stomach ache. So I looked it up and it said undigested emotions. And what undigested emotions are, we talked about it, I believe, in the self-care the week before, are all these things you push down because you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to heal it to feel it. You don't want to feel it to heal it, right? Because when you feel it, it hurts. Sometimes it feels like someone's stabbing you in your heart over and over and over again with an ice pick. And not that I know what that feels like. I don't, okay? But it's just the idea of it, right? Have you ever watched a crime show and thought, oh my God, what was that person feeling? And you don't feel their pain, but you feel the scariness of it. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's about truly finding your place in your world. It's about making room for you in your world. And one of the ways we do that is by getting rid of a limiting belief that you have about yourself or your abilities. I had a shield of distrust for a long, long time. And I think it has affected certain aspects of my life because I didn't make great decisions. I was constantly seeking validation from other places because I didn't trust myself, because I didn't love myself enough. And I'm coming into this for the third time with a fresh pair of eyes and a more healed person, I guess. I don't know how else to put that. But but I'm coming in more healed, more grown than I was when I first tried this a few years ago. See, when I first tried this a few years ago, I thought 30 days of self-love, 1-minute Snapchats, I'm going to be perfect by the end of this. I didn't do the hard work. I didn't dig deep. I gave superficial answers that were right off the top of my head. But I will tell you one thing. I remember the very first time I did this on lesson number 2, I had a laundry list of limiting beliefs about myself and my abilities. Now I'm down to 1. So I know that this healing process, this feeling it to heal it, I know it's working. Because no matter how shitty it feels to feel something that hurts so bad while you're trying to heal it, eventually you're going to come out the other side. You know? I mean, think about a laundry cycle, right? Have you ever sat there and watched a laundry cycle? You know, for those of you that can actually watch it with the window. And, or even in the old days when we used to be able to open it and you can still see it swishing around. Well, actually, when you opened it, it stopped. But I would push the button in just to watch it. I know, I'm weird. But think about yourself as being a shirt in the laundry, right? Or maybe even for the ladies out there, for people that are dumb enough like me to throw my bras into the laundry so that they just get ruined. But it gets hooked onto everything. It gets stuck on everything. And because I can hear older sibling in her head right now going, that's why I use a lingerie bag, whatever. I have a lot to learn about life, but but my point is imagine your pair of stockings, you know, like the pair of tights or pair of leggings, and you're just getting stretched and pulled in 9 different directions. But then you come out, right? You go in the dryer, you feel all fresh and clean. You're all, yay. That's what it feels like. It's gonna hurt. I can't lie to you and say it won't. I think the degrees of pain are different for everybody. I think the degrees of grief are different for everybody, especially depending on the grief that you're suffering. And this is why we need self-love. Because we need to know that it's going to be okay, even when it feels like it's not. And remember, healing is like an onion, okay? How many times have we heard this metaphor? You got to keep peeling away the layers, right? It's like if you're talking to someone and you know they're in a lot of pain, you got to slowly peel the layers back. And yes, it might make you cry. Yes, it might burn your eyes. But in the end, I'm not a big onion fan unless it's grilled, but in the end, it adds flavor to your life, right? And that's what healing's all about. It's about peeling away all the icky stuff to get to the flavor of your life. All right, so one last time, get rid of a limiting belief that you have about yourself or your abilities. Again, I'll put this in the header. I forgot to put this in the YouTube comments yesterday, so I'll put lesson number 1 in the YouTube comments from yesterday, and I will try to remember today to do that again. But again, I highly suggest getting a notebook while we do this, because you can write your feelings out. Even if you're not much of a journal person, do it anyway, because you're going to be surprised. You can even just write little things down. Like I said, the first time I did this, I had a laundry list of things. Limiting beliefs, don't trust, not worthy, unlovable, this, that, and the other. Well, I think I'm lovable now. I mean, if I wasn't, all the people around me would not be talking to me. I'd be that person in my dream where everybody's just trying to run in the other direction, or I feel invisible. But I don't feel invisible anymore. I want the world to see me, because I have a lot to say. I have a lot to share. I have a lot to teach. And I'm not ashamed of that anymore. I used to think nobody cares what I have to say. Well, whether they care or not, I don't care. I'm sharing it anyway. So if you're fortunate enough to listen, congratulations. But I know, so pat myself on the back. Anyway, just kidding. But I do have seeds to plant, and that's my goal, is to be this beacon to awake the people that want to feel good about themselves, that want to change, and to awaken the people that might be scared, to give them something to lean against and say, hey, you know what, this person did it. Maybe I can do it too. And then eventually that maybe becomes, I did it too. Now I want someone else to lean against me while they heal, so they know they're not alone. It's about causing that ripple in the water. It's about planting that seed, right? What happens when something grows? The birds eat it, they spread it around, And that's the point. That's the whole point of the perspective, is to share that light and be a light for others. Not just me, but to pass on that light, to keep lighting other people's torches, right? Their little fire within them that helps them see in the dark. So, all right. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Remember to write these down. I will put them in the comments and in the headers. Again, my limiting belief right now is trusting myself, and I need to stop that. I need to believe in my abilities. I need to believe in the gifts that I have, and I need to believe that I am making a difference, even if it doesn't feel like it. Because that's what I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of even if it doesn't feel like it, and I just want to say, I want to make a difference. Or I am making a difference. My purpose in life is to make a difference. Oh, wow. I should write that down. My purpose. Okay, you're watching this live in life is to help make a difference. Yay! That's one of them, I'm sure. So again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Self-Care Wednesday. So we will continue with lesson number 3 on Thursday. Okay, so tomorrow's Self-Care Wednesday. I'll try to come up with something good for it. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see you back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Facebook Live under Shelly Marie Lucas, or you can watch the replay on YouTube under the Aloha Perspective with Shelly Marie Lucas. Have a great, great day, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging in there. And remember, self-love is so important, and you are worthy of self-love. Have a great day.